the process of painting is in 3 separate cycles. There's a beginning, there's a continuing on the painting, and then there's a finishing. And I know that sounds very simplistic, but what was very mind-blowing for me was when I sat down and realized that each one of these cycles needed a different way of thinking, a different process, different techniques. Beginning for me was an act of freedom. I wanted to have sort of a no limits and just see what happens, put things on the canvas. Continuing for me was an act of faith, that somehow the painting wasn't finished yet. I didn't know where it was going, but if I kept at it, it would get somewhere. And the third last cycle was finishing, and I noticed that for me, it felt like an act of healing. Then I noticed that during the day, I wouldn't necessarily go through all 3 cycles. So for me, in my process, instead of saying I'm going to stick with one painting, and by golly, I'm going to finish that painting today, or keep at it until I finish it, instead I go to my studio and say, well, what kind of energy do I feel today? If I feel really free and crazy and I just want to start paintings, I will start 4 or 5 or 6. And if the next day and the next day I still feel like that, sometimes for a whole month I'll just start paintings. Then one day I go into my studio and say, I think I'm overwhelmed with starts. Or I would say, I really feel like just taking a piece that I already worked on and really making it work better. And same thing with finishing. Sometimes I would come in and just look at a painting and say, wow, it's been looking at me for a month and now I know what I need to do to finish it.